What is going on, everyone? It's me, Marco from Gadget Experts, looking at the Motorola Droid RAZR, the thinnest 4G LTE smartphone on Verizon's network. Now, this thing is literally razor thin. It brings back the old name of the RAZR, but first, pretty much the thinnest clamshell that brought in, I believe it was like 2005 maybe, that revolutionized the way you think about how thin a phone can be. And Motorola brought back the RAZR here. This is a very sleek device. It has that awesome little bump on the top for a big 8 megapixel camera. Unfortunately, the battery isn't removable, but the battery is one of the best parts about this phone because it's one, it's a 4G LTE phone, but two, the battery life is really good, and it's actually probably one of the best we've seen on a 4G LTE device from Verizon anyways. So the screen is a 4.3-inch display. It's a Super AMOLED display in the resolution of 540 by 960, which is actually a very high resolution display. You can still kind of tell some kind of pixelation just because of the bigger screen size, so the pixel density isn't as big as you, or isn't as dense as you think, but still overall a very nice vivid display. It's also powered by a 1.2 gigahertz TI OMAP 4430, the 4430i processor. It's a dual-core chip, all formatted from Texas Instruments, so it's actually a very nice silicon that's running it as well. You also have that 1 gigabyte of RAM, which makes things a lot smoother when you're talking about opening a lot of applications. So here's this display. You got your 4 Android capacitive buttons. On the left side, you actually have a little slot, which if you have fingernails, which I don't today. Well, maybe. Alright. This is actually where you put your SIM card in here, if I can get this thing open. Anyways, well, maybe it's, yeah, there we go. Let's try the backwards way. There we go. You have a, actually, it's I believe it's one of the micro SIMs. Might be. Yeah, it's a micro SIM. So it is a micro SIM 4G LTE card. Let me just restart the phone because I probably just lost it. Which is actually a really cool technology of Verizon's formatting. It's probably basically just a micro SIM for 4G LTE, which basically everything is getting smaller anyway. So internally, you have 16 gigabytes of basically internal storage. You can upgrade it with your micro SD card. That's up to 32 gigabytes, so if you do the math, you can get a lot of more storage on there as well. On the right side, you have your power switch, which is kind of odd for Motorola put it on the right side, kind of like Samsung, but that's where it's at. You have your volume rocker, which is a bit small, a little recessed like the Droid X. On the top, you have your mini HDMI or micro HDMI, and you also have your mini USB or micro USB for charging and data syncing there. Now on the back, you have an 8 megapixel camera sensor, and if my camera focus, there we go. 8 megapixel camera sensor with one LED xenon flash there, which records 1080p and 8 megapixel photo stills. Now I'm a little disappointed with the 8 megapixel photo stills. They're not as good as any other cameras. Biggest competitor there is going to be the iPhone 4S's 8 megapixel camera, which is actually a very stunning looking camera. So let's do a couple of size comparisons here. Here is the Samsung, I believe this is a Skyrocket. You guys can tell here the size difference between these two. This is a 4.5-inch display. This is a 4.3-inch display. This is AT&T's one of the first two 4G LTE devices to hit their market. And moving around to the Samsung Focus S from Samsung. This is the Windows 7.5 Mango device for AT&T. 4.3-inch display, same size as this. This has basically the same screen, but has a lesser resolution. And lastly, or not lastly, second to last is the Focus Flash. Cheaper phone, a little bit thicker. And it's still a Windows 7.5 device. And then lastly, you guys can see iPhone 4S with an OtterBox case on it, so thickness really won't be fair. But trust me, this thing makes the iPhone look chubby as heck. So the Motorola Droid RAZR is definitely a very thin device. So bravo Motorola for making really one of the sexiest designs I've ever seen in an Android phone. So bravo to them on that. So let's go ahead and just show you guys around the OS. It has Android 2.3.5, the newest version of Gingerbread, with compatibility of 4.0 whenever it comes available for the Droid RAZR here, but it's going to be fully compatible with it. The app's layout, basically, it's a 3D carousel effect. You guys can see kind of one goes away and the other one slides in from the corner of the right side. So really nice effect to there. And then you still have your, regular old navigation bar here. So let's go ahead and jump into the camera real quick. And I'll show you, the photo quality is really, really good. But it just it's disappointing to a fact where it's an 8 megapixel camera, but the camera just doesn't look that good. So just taking a picture of the iPhone 4S here. Let's just take a picture real quick. I mean, it's not that bad of a camera. You guys can see, this is a black sheet, but it's coming up as blue. And that's just because it's white balance and autofocus is just kind of having a fight with each other. So the focusing system is okay. It's not that fast. Definitely could be a bit better here. And the 1080p video is actually pretty dang good. Not comparable to a point-and-shoot camera of the iPhone 4S or a standalone camcorder that you can get. This definitely won't replace a point-and-shoot camera, but definitely if your point-and-shoot camera does die, this will be a very good, reliable second camera to have if you don't have anything else other than a dedicated camera. So the camera, I am just a bit disappointed there. Just not one of the best cameras I've seen from an Android device anyways. I think Samsung has a little bit of an edge on their cameras right now. And they're only at 5 meg. I mean, I've only seen one Samsung 8 megapixel sensor on a phone. So, definitely check that out. If you're into taking photos, definitely check it out. So let's go ahead and go to the web browser. I'm all hooked up on all bars of 4G LTE from Verizon Wireless. Let's go ahead and go to gadgetexperts.net, and we'll let this load on the network. There we go. So I loaded up the mobile website. Let's go ahead and turn off mobile and switch to the desktop version. And that will load here in a second. But still a very nice design. It's a nice, elegant look to it. The 4G hotspot also worked up to 8 users. So if you have any, if you're going on trips, you could actually use this at a hotel if the hotel Wi-Fi is too slow or they charge you. So go ahead and pop out your own 4G LTE, which will probably be faster anyway. So it's a really, really nice web browser. The pinch to zoom is very, very smooth. It's a little jittery when you zoom out too much, and it kind of has this little weird freak out with it. But that's just more of a software-based thing and not a hardware issue with this. I mean, it has the 1.2 gigahertz dual core. It has 1 gigs of RAM. It's definitely more of a software issue than anything, and I really can't wait until Android 4.0, and I really think the RAZR, if it came with 4.0, that definitely would have been a very big game changer, just for in general, because 4.0 for Droid RAZR, I think, will really compete with the Samsung Galaxy Nexus. I mean, that's one giant thing that I think it's going to compete with. And just in general, the phone it's a very fast phone. For $199, it's a very reasonable price. It's one of a cheaper. It's cheaper than the $249 or the $299 price tags for 4G LTE devices on Verizon itself. So it's definitely at a good price point, and for what you get for your money is definitely worth it. And it's LTE, it has everything you need from it. It's fast, it's powerful, it lasts all day, the battery life is amazing, outstanding for a 4G LTE device. I mean, you have over 750 hours of talk time. And let me just double check on it. Yeah, it is 750 hours of talk time because you have a 1780 milliamp hour battery life, or battery rated at that milliamp hour, which generally I can get a day and a half with it. If I push it, if I really use the phone a lot, I could probably get a full day without any difficulty there. But I could probably push for 2 days. That's if I just use it for kind of general web browsing, maybe some video watching, a little bit of music listening to, but just about it. But really, for the battery life, it's very outstanding. It's one of the better phones I've seen with 4G LTE to last all day. and to last sometime of tomorrow as well. So I definitely really, I love the Droid RAZR. It's thin, it's fast, it's powerful, it's got a good price tag. I mean, Christmas is right around the corner, so if you ever want to buy this for your mom, your dad, your son, your brother, your uncle, your brother-in-law that you don't really like that much, it's definitely a great present. And it's also a great phone for yourself as well. Again, $199 doesn't really hurt to buy it. It's the same price as any kind of other. It's actually competing with 3G smartphones that they have on Verizon and AT&T's network. So for $199, 4G LTE, you get a killer display, which looks absolutely amazing. Just go to gallery here. Let's go to wallpaper gallery real quick, because they have some really nice pictures. Let's see, library. So the pictures, I mean, it's alright. Here's a picture of a Mazda logo, which looks really good. I hope I don't get copyrighted there. And here's a cat. Now, this is from the previous reviewer, I believe, or this was at an event in North Carolina, so maybe people were taking some pictures of this. Again, the Motorola Droid RAZR by Motorola. It brings back the thinness name. It brings back the RAZR name. I'm really glad to see it again. Again, the Motorola Droid RAZR available for $199.99 on a 2-year contract with Verizon Wireless with 4G LTE plans ranging from 2 gigs all the way up to 10 gigs on different price points there. So it's me, Marco, from Gadget Experts, and I'll see you guys next time.